Morning, welcome back to Alan's Allotment. It's Saturday the 22nd of October 2022. Just got the kettle on, get a nice cup of coffee, and then we'll have a little chat and tell you where we've been today. Morning and welcome back. Right, so this morning we were up bright and early. I think I was up about 6 o'clock, and there was a reason for that. I had made some arrangements to go somewhere specific today, and I went to pay Mr. Greenside Up, or better known as Steve at Greenside Up, a visit. Now, I had approached Steve via an email and was quite taken by his elephant garlic. Now, I know Danny from Grapevine Gardens is sending me some, but I think he only had 2 or 3 cloves. And although that would have got me a start, obviously the more I can get to make a start, the better. And I offered to purchase some seed from Steve. And I'm sort of just down the road from Steve. It's about 16 miles or something like that. It's not far. It was finding it that was the problem. The sat-nav had me going all over the place. I had to rely on people guiding me to the eventual destination. However, we met up with Steve. We finally got there. We had a great chat, bit of a chin wag, and a couple of giggles along the way. And Steve very kindly gave me some elephant garlic. I did offer to pay for it, but he wouldn't take any money for it. And there's quite a few big ones, and there's some mediums, and there was 1 or 2 small ones that he was actually going to put in the compost bin, or had put in the compost bin, and then decided, you know, I might as well have them. So thank you very much, Steve. I really do appreciate that. It was an absolute pleasure meeting you and having a face-to-face chat with you as well. I also, prior to meeting up with Steve, I had ordered myself some German giant garlic as well. And I thought, oh, you know what, I'll take a punt. I've ordered some stuff online before and it hasn't been up to standard really. However, what I'm pleased to say is this particular seller has come up with the goods. And if you wish, I'll leave you a link in the description down below if anybody would be interested in this. Now, I gave a couple of these to Steve for to try. And I personally was seriously impressed with these. And these are the cloves from the German giant. But unlike the elephant garlic, which is actually a member of the leek family, these are true garlic, I'm led to believe. And they certainly smell like true garlic. But the size of the bulbs are huge. Or cloves, I should say, not bulbs. These are cloves. There's 24 cloves ready to go and plant, and these will be going in today. So just a quick update of what I've been busy with this morning. Now, when I was at Steve's, it was absolutely emptying down, and we were standing in the polytunnel having a chat. And it was nice to just get over there and see his allotment in real time, if you will. I know I've watched his channel many times. I've probably watched every video, and you see it, but to get a perspective of it while you're in there, have a look at his hot box that he's making, and hot composting box in the polytunnel, and having a good old chin wag. A very, very enjoyable morning. I'm going to get on and get these planted now, and I just want to say thanks again to Steve. I'll leave a link to Steve's channel in the description down below. Most people will already know about Steve and Greenside Up, but if you haven't heard of him, pop over and look at his channel. He gives out fantastic tips, very knowledgeable gardener, and it was a real pleasure to meet you, Steve. And thanks for the garlic. Right, so here I am again, filling up the shelves in the dry area that I've just cleared. Just trying to get a bit of light. It's a bit too much light on there. So I'm just potting up this garlic. As I said, these are the German German giants. Let's take the address off. I'm not sure how well this will come out. So these are German giant garlic that I ordered, and I am really impressed with the size of the bulbs. As I say, they're really good size, these. So we're keeping these separated, but again they're in the premium seaweed compost that I'm planting these, starting them off in. Now they could go right in the ground, yes, but to be honest I haven't decided exactly where they're going to go, and I want to give them the best possible place. So until I've finished prepping the beds, putting on fresh manure, getting down the super soil onto the beds and prepping them properly, they'll get started in here, and then I can decide where they're going to go. Now obviously the elephant garlic, again, we've separated those into small, large and mediums. So Steve has provided me with 3 large cloves, 4 mediums and 3 that he was basically going to put in his compost bin, but they will make into garlic, either edible or grow them on a second year to get the big bulbs. As I say, I've also got 2 or 3 cloves coming from Danny at Grapevine Garden, and I'll leave a link in the description to Danny's channel as well. So thank you very much, gentlemen. It's really appreciated. It's a great community that we have where we can share and chat about what we're all interested in. Right, enough babbling. I'll get on finishing these off, and then we'll bring you back for something else. And just so you know what we're growing them in, you may have seen this on the last video, but if you didn't, this is what we're basically using to give them a good start. So I've just came down to the polytunnel now. I was having a chat with Steve as well, the green side up, and he was telling me, I was telling him about the aubergine trying to overwinter, and he tells me that you can actually do it. So Steve has obviously tried this at some point and knows that it works and can be done. So this is the grafted aubergine that we're trying to overwinter and see how it does. So we'll just keep an eye on that and see how it goes. If you want to follow along and see whether this is possible, don't forget to hit that subscribe button, select the bell icon, select all, and you'll be alerted every time I put up a new video. Thanks for all your likes, comments, subscriptions so far. Really do appreciate it, guys. And then of course we've got these 3 peppers that we decided we would overwinter. And then we have the crimson bonfire peach, which should produce some really nice peaches next year. We've had them this year, but I was later getting it in, and they were a bit on the small side and they were a bit hard. So I came in to see how the plants are doing, because I was terrified that the gales had blew these off the shelf, but I'm pleased to say it hasn't. So from this end we've got our lettuces, which we need to be getting in these beds very quickly, and possibly some of the cabbage. These are Terry King's Sweetheart strawberries, getting established, doing okay with the exception of 1. These are the cauliflower snowball, and we'll just give these a little drink now. They were bone dry, and that's 1 odd one. The Casablanca garlic are all now starting to come up, as is, oh yeah, that's Casablanca as well. Most of these have sprouted. 1 or 2 of the little Japanese onions in the Charles Dowding tray are just starting to show signs of life. Then I've got my own strawberry mother plants transplanted in here. 1 or 2 of them are not looking too good either, but they will recover. Then we've got my own shop bought garlic in the seaweed compost, in various sizes, in large, small and absolutely tiny. And as you can see, the tiny ones are way ahead of anything else. Then I've got a few dwarf kale here, and then my runners that I took off my parent plants, just soaking in water to get some roots. Like I said, they're not all going to make it, but if we get a handful, that'll do me. But my own garlic is making a real effort and starting to sprout already. As I said, this is its 3rd year, and each year the bulbs keep getting progressively better. And I'm going to winter most of the garlic and onions in this bed. I've done it before and I always get a good harvest out of here. They still get frosted and they do produce really well. They get a water in one time, and more often than not they don't never get another water after that. We just put them in and leave them to their own devices and harvest them when they're ready. Now, in previous years I've always pulled them a little bit early because I wanted to get my tomatoes in, but this year I'm not growing as much in here, and I'll only be putting 4 or 5 tomato plants in on this side once the cabbages and cauliflowers are out. I've also, this pot of lettuces, I've took out what I wanted and I've just dotted them right along the front edge here. Way more than we're going to need, but just in case we get slug damage or some don't make it, yeah. Then I've put 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 snowball cauliflowers in here. And I put 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 of the Primor cabbage, and then we've got another few lettuces dotted around in here. Now they're pretty close together, but we're just going to have these as small. They're not going to do a lot of growing, and we're just going to pick leaves off them as and when we need them. And likewise with the ones on this side. Into the citrus tree house now, and fruit tree polytunnel. So we give these some Epsom salts 2 weeks ago, and they are still looking a bit pale. Now there's no insect damage on this particular plant, so we're going to give it some iron as well. Again, this mandarin, it still only has that 1 leaf. The flowers it did try to produce have died back, and there is no further leafage on this plant. I'm not sure if we've lost it, although it's still green. Now this one is doing really well. This is the grapefruit, coming along fine. But I came to the lime again, and the lime is still obliterated with what I believe is green fly. I'll put a bit of a close-up on there so you can see. And I've just sprayed them all down again now. Focus. And this particular pesticide supposedly kills on contact. Now I think what's happened is I've missed a treatment through laziness or otherwise, and the eggs have hatched and it got infested again. But we're just basically treating these with your standard DOF universal bug killer, which is just scale, whitefly, mealybugs, etc. And it kills on contact, and it says you can even spray up to the day of harvest, so presumably it's safe. We've tested it, they've tested it, and we can only believe what it tells us on the package. However, I won't be taking any fruit off these till next year anyways, so getting it all under control now is the way to go. It's also supposed to help and suppress mildew. Now this one's already got badly fungused up. There is fruit on this, and it's hanging on and it's staying, and it is still flowering in spite of the onslaught. And we'll have to keep on top and make sure we spray this. I'm probably going to do it every 3 days now for a couple of weeks to make sure anything that hatches out, we catch it right away. Right, I'm in the main grown area now. I've just came over to get a couple of leeks, and these ones have done really well. It's only a very small bed. They're pretty close together, but they've done really well in this new bed, as has the celery. So we'll get a celery and a couple of leeks to take down. So we're in the main grown area now, as you can see. We've put a lot of these to bed now, covered them with cardboard. But as you can clearly see, something's digging away and digging holes in the cardboard. This is only very thin stuff, but the thicker cardboard boxes make a better cover. However, you can see they've been digging in that as well. Yes, it's an ongoing marathon trying to keep them covered. But some are faring better than others. Hello! The chickens have all come to see what I'm doing in here. So we'll have a look at the broccoli while we're here. Doing relatively okay. A little bit of slug damage on one or two of the bottom leaves. I need to get in there and clean them off. This next lot of garlic were planted probably a bit too close, but this is one of the beds that didn't get any, hasn't had any extra fertilisation this year. None of these have. That one, that one, that one, and this one. And the harvest out of these, I have to be honest, were poor. But they will be rectified, topped up with fresh compost and some of the super soil, as will all the beds get super soil. Now this is normally my main garlic and onion bed, and all onion bed, and that's the other one. And these also have had no compost on for 3 years and no fertilisation. They've had no blood, fish and bone or anything, but this one has now. This has had blood, fish and bone this year, but it wants a top layer of compost. That's had fish, blood and bone and wants a top layer of compost. I've still got the strawberry patch to obliterate, clear out, rip this bed out, and 3 new 3-foot square beds to go in here to maximise space. We've harvested all of the compost now, carrots, sorry. We've got a good, I don't know, just less than half of a cubic ton of compost to use. And we have put some of it into here for the next batch. And as you can see, something is clearly digging away at this cardboard, and this one's been off completely with the wind, and so is that. So we need to think of something better than that and get it staked down. That one stayed put, and so is that one around the grapevine that we planted earlier in the year, which is coming along nice now. Cabbages, fingers crossed, are still doing pretty well, and they're looking rather nice and healthy. Again, these cages, I got the inspiration from Steve at Green Side Up. And then these are getting butched by something, flea beetle or whatever by the looks of it. But these are the Calabrese, the second round. But these are getting obliterated, in spite of being completely enclosed. So they're either in the soil already and they're coming up and obliterating these. Well, it is what it is. You win some and you lose some. It's reality. Gardening isn't all fun. Sometimes you lose what you plant. Never mind. So, an interesting thing. In here, which is basically a storage shed at the storage area at the moment, yeah, my potatoes have pretty much shot and had it. I don't know if they're going to come to anything, but probably just end up pulling those out very shortly. But what you can see the difference is the citrus trees, the lime trees, the peach trees. We don't have any sooty mildew or anything on any of these trees. And it suddenly dawned on me why. And the reason for that is that window is constantly open all winter. And I have this airflow that comes in under this door all winter. We can easily throw a fleece over the citrus trees to protect them if we need to. And basically, I'm putting it down to the fact that we've got airflow in here. Now I closed up the other treehouse with the other plants, and by doing that I'm getting that much condensation in there. That is what has contributed to the mildew. I'm certain of it. So there we have it, and a couple of nice leeks. Take down. We needed some more potatoes, so these are the potatoes earlies that we stored in the garage. Now you can see they've got a bit of scab on, but they're perfectly edible. So we'll get them took down and make use of those. And then I thought I'll get a celery, and I pulled one, and 3 came out together. They'd all amalgamated, and because of the close proximity. So when I pulled one, 3 came out. So I'll trim these up, take the roots off, might as well take them down and give the neighbours some, I think. Right, and on that note, that brings us to another exciting episode, end of another exciting episode of Alan's Allotment. I'm just having my final cup of coffee here now in the shed, and then I'm going to make my way down home for some lunch. Hope you've enjoyed today's video. If you have, don't forget to like, dislike, or leave a comment in the sections below. Thanks for all your subscriptions, likes and comments. I really do appreciate it, guys. If it's your first time here, think about hitting that red subscribe button down below. Select the bell icon, select all, and that will alert you every time I put up a new video. Thanks for following me along, guys. As always, wherever you are in the world, please stay safe and be practical. Keep yourselves out of harm's way. Thanks again for watching, and I'll see you again in the next video.